Hey everyone, I'm Pencil Pete, the sharpest teacher in town.
And I'm Notebook Nora. I've got all the grammar secrets right here on my pages.
And together, we are going to learn all about the parts of speech the easy way.
Okay, let's just dive right in, shall we? We're starting off with the big three. These are the most important building blocks for pretty much any sentence you can think of. They're the words that name things, show action, and, just make our sentences a whole lot smarter. You ready for this? Let's do it.
So first up, let's talk about nouns. I like to call them the naming words. I mean, think about it. Everything you can see or touch or even just think about has a name, right? Well, that name is a noun. It's how we know exactly what or who we're talking about.
That's right. It could be a person, like Sarah, or a place, like your school. It could be a thing, like a dog, or, and this is cool, it can even be an idea, like happiness. Hey, psst, come here. Want to know a super secret trick? If you can put the words the, or an right in front of a word, it's almost always a noun. Just try it. The dog, a school. See, it totally works.
Okay, next up, verbs. Now, verbs are my absolute favorite because they're all about action. These are the doing words in a sentence. Seriously, anything you can do, like run, jump, shout, or think, well, that's a verb in action. Woo! Pete is totally right. Verbs like run, dance, and shout are all about action. But don't forget about being verbs. Words like is, are, was, and were, they're verbs too. They don't really show action, but they show a state of being. They're the words that tell you what something is. So remember, if you can do it, or if it tells you what something is, it's a verb. And now, let's talk pronouns. These little words are so helpful. Just imagine saying, Sarah went to the park, and then Sarah played on the swings, and then Sarah went home. Man, that's a whole lot of Sarah. Pronouns let us swap that out and say, she went home instead. See? They save us from saying names over and over and over again.
Exactly. He, she, it, they, you. I call them the shortcut team. They just jump right in to replace the noun, and bam, our sentences are smoother and faster. They're kind of like grammar superheroes.
All right, you have totally got the basics down. So now, let's move on to the words that make our sentences way more exciting and detailed. These are the describing words, the ones that add all the color and flavor.
Let's talk adjectives. So I want you to think of a noun, like it's a simple outline in a coloring book. Well, adjectives are the crayons. They add all the color and all the details, telling you way more about that person, place, or thing. They really make your writing pop.
Yep, adjectives answer some really important questions about nouns. They can tell you what kind of thing it is, like a red ball. They can tell you which one we're talking about, like that movie. And they can tell you how many there are, like 2 cats. They are super descriptive.
Okay, so if adjectives describe nouns, what describes our action words, our verbs? Well, that's a job for adverbs. Adverbs usually tell us how an action is done. Did you just run, or did you run quickly? See that? That little word quickly is an adverb doing its job.
And here is another awesome trick for you. A whole lot of adverbs end with the letters ly. Words like quickly, softly, and brilliantly are all adverbs. So if you see a word ending in ly, there's a really good chance you found an adverb.
Okay, let's put these two side by side so you can really see the difference. Over on the left, adjectives describe nouns. We have a blue car. Blue tells us about the noun, which is the car. Makes sense. Now on the right, adverbs describe verbs. The car raced quickly. Quickly tells us how it raced. See how that works? Just remember, adjectives hang out with nouns and adverbs hang out with verbs. You guys are doing fantastic work. We've learned about naming words, action words, and describing words. Now for our final group. These are the words that connect all our ideas together and let us express those big, strong feelings.
First up, let's talk conjunctions. I call these word glue. Why? Because they literally stick parts of a sentence together. Words like and, but, and, or are conjunctions. They help us connect our ideas into longer, much more interesting sentences. It's kind of like building with grammar blocks.
And now, for prepositions. These are basically your location words. They show the relationship between things, and a lot of the time, they tell you where something is.
Like, is the cat under the bed? Is the book on the table? Those little words, under and on, are prepositions. They really help us paint a clear picture in our minds.
And last, but oh so definitely not least, interjections. These are for big feelings. They are short words that just burst into a sentence to show excitement, surprise, or even shock. You know, like wow, or oh no, or hey. And you'll almost always see them with an exclamation mark. Woohoo! You did it! You've learned all the parts of speech. So, are you ready to put your skills to the test? 'Cause it's time for the Grammar Challenge. Let's see what you've learned. All right, here's your first question. Look at the sentence. Wow, that movie was amazing. What part of speech is that word wow? Well, it shows a big feeling, and it's got an exclamation mark. It has to be an interjection. You got it. Ready for a fill in the blank? Okay, look at this sentence. The blank cat quickly blank across the busy street. We need to pull two words from our word bank down there. For that first blank, we need a word to describe the cat, so that's going to be an adjective. And for the second one, we need an action, so that's a verb. Take a look at that word bank. What do you think fits best?
Okay, before our final challenge, let's do a super fast recap of all our secret tricks. Ready? Let's go. If you see the, a, or an, it's a noun. If you can do it, it's a verb. If it ends in ly, it's an adverb. If it adds detail, adjective. If it replaces a name, pronoun. And if it's word glue, it's a conjunction. You've totally got this. And now, it is time for the final round of our grammar game show. Here's the question. Which word is a noun in the sentence, "The teacher read a fascinating story to the class"? Okay, get ready to use those secret tricks. Okay, here are your options. Let's think this through. Read is an action, so that's a verb. Fascinating describes the story, so that's an adjective. What about story? Can you say a story? You sure can. So the correct answer is C, story. You see? Our a/an/the trick works every time. You did it! You learned all the parts of speech with us today. You are officially a grammar genius. You have all the tools and all the secret tricks you need. You are so ready to rock that worksheet. Great job, everyone. Bye for now.